All right. Here we go. We are kicking off our second class, our second live session for the Unblock Your Weight Loss Blocks program here, and super excited to be diving in. We just as a heads up, I want to make sure everyone has this information. So, and I'll put this in the chat a couple of times, but we have our link. I'll put the program access page into our chat. So anyone who's just joining in, if you ever want to go back to watch the replays, if you want to get any of the bonuses, any of the
turn up the volume. Yes, turn up the volume.
Can you, Amanda, can you mute them the way you did last time, please?
Yes. Here, let's mute everybody. More stuff coming in. Here we go.
Marilyn isn't muted there.
Marilyn is not muted.
Can you mute them from you? There you go.
Yeah. All right.
Lynn.
Okay.
Hi. Barbara. Hi. Go ahead.
Welcome. So, okay, so just put into the chat, I'll do it again. This is the access page. So anyone just joining us, if you haven't had it yet, that's the access page where you can download the workbook. You can see all the replays and the recordings. Also, we're going to be adding some extra bonuses in there next week as well. And Carol and I have a special bonus to announce today. Carol, do you want to share what we're offering and adding in?
Well, everyone, it's really fun. We've just added an hour Q&A on Wednesday, and the time is 3:30 Central, right? 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 if you're in my time zone Eastern, and Europeans, please look it up. Okay, so that's an hour Q&A, answer as much as we possibly can. And we thought that would be useful after these first two classes. So we're doing that. And we've got some bonuses also that we're going to record together. So that'll be fun. So we're excited. We want this to work for you all because it does work. We know it works, so we want it to work for you. And part of that is just getting more information.
Yes, absolutely. So continuing to bring your questions. Tomorrow's a great chance if you have a question about a specific resistance or a specific block that you think you're struggling with, want some help tweaking, or if you're new to EFT and want a deeper understanding, kind of ask more about how that can work and how you can put this into a regular practice for yourself. So bring any questions tomorrow. That's 1:30 Pacific, 3:30 Central, 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, an extra bonus that we're adding in.
Eastern Daylight. It's not working the muting, and I just want, if you guys want to do something in background, I don't want the noise to come through. So David's not muted there, so I don't know if you're muting. David, could you mute yourself? And anybody who doesn't see yourself, the sound muted, if you could, thank you. Just helps for the recording and for when we're doing this. Excellent. Good. All right, great. So we'll see some of you, and of course we're recording that and we'll send that out. And again, as Amanda said, everything's on the replay page. The link for every single class, the downloads for all the classes, the bonuses, everything's going to be on that one page. So that makes it easy.
Yes, and I just put the replay link in the chat one more time for those newcomers so you can see that, save that, bookmark that. That's a great place to go to. So let's dive in here. We are here for our second opportunity to come together. Last time we talked about hormone balance as a whole and really using emotional freedom technique, using tapping as a way to get to the root, right? Because at the core, what we're looking to do is to support our nervous system, to calm down the nervous system so that we can get out of that fight or flight response and move through our choices and release some of the blocks that trigger. I look at it as like, it's like if you have a big button, how people say, oh, my brother just pushes my buttons. Well, what we want to do is have less buttons out there in the world that are so easy and accessible to be pushed, right? And when we can use EFT, that's a great tool that helps to mitigate the effects of triggers that are going to send us into fight or flight response.
And what I would add to that is that when some people were asking, well, what does my nervous system have to do with holding on to weight? If you don't feel safe because your nervous system is kind of jacked up or looking over your shoulder or worried about this, or life doesn't feel safe to you, or a relationship doesn't feel safe, or losing the weight doesn't feel safe, You can't do it biologically. That's why we're so focused on a technique to calm down the fight or flight, to get you back in your body, back in your nervous system, rewire that. So then you can lose the weight. Your body says, oh, okay, you're safe. Oh, okay, we can do that. Without it, when I say I tried everything for years, until EFT, I'm telling you, it's the missing piece, because it calms you down to feel safe enough to say, oh, what's really going on? And deep breath, I can drop a few pounds here. I don't have to gain it back. I don't have to hold on for whatever emotional safety reasons.
And one thing too, I think that's really insightful. I had a conversation with a woman who's joined us last week for week 1, and she was like, it was really interesting, new for me to think about EFT. And
Efrat, can you please mute yourself? EFRAT, if I pronounce your name wrong, I apologize, but please mute yourself.
Thank you. I wasn't clear of where I don't feel stressed. So it didn't seem like thinking about where would it feel unsafe to release this weight. I don't sense that it feels unsafe for me. So, and it was interesting just talking through and having the conversation with her. What she realized is, you know what, I don't know that I've ever really sat with that question and pondered that to give myself space to have that be revealed. And the process of using EFT calmed her nervous system down enough that then she had an aha light bulb moment come through, and she's like, oh wow, it just dropped in. I never realized that would mean then I have to actually love and accept myself more the way I am. I don't have this built-in excuse of I hate the way I look in the mirror. So sometimes using the process and going through a couple of rounds, as Carol has showed us, can, kind of get you out of that stuck headspace. If it feels unclear, or if you feel like I just don't know, I don't have the answer, sometimes using that can then allow the answer to be revealed. Carol, I don't know if you want to add on to that.
Well, the one thing I would say also is, remember, when we're talking about safety, we're talking about emotional safety. A bunch of you brought that up last time. Biological safety. Some people do not feel good in a smaller package. End of story. It doesn't have to totally make sense. So physical, biological, emotional, and energetic safety. We have energy moving through our entire body, chi, life force, and it moves through the meridians, right? And if you don't feel safe for whatever reason, your body will get the messages from your brain. Don't do that. No, don't. You can lose 5 and then I'll help you gain it right back. I know many of you have had that frustration where you think, what is going on? That's what we're trying to address. What is going on? What's with the yo-yo? What's with the stubbornness? I'm not eating enough to gain that kind of weight. What's going on? Well, what's going on is simple science. Your body, if it doesn't feel safe, will literally hold on to calories, and it will not make sense mathematically. So we're trying to move through that so that you all give your body the support, and your mind, the support that says, oh, I can lose the weight safely and keep myself safe. Some of you are thinking in terms of safety is like real danger. It doesn't have to be real danger. It can just be a little awkwardness. It can just be, ooh, I had a client who said every time she loses weight, too many people comment. She's like, stop talking about my body. Well, of course, she wants to lose weight, wanted to be smaller. And then people would say, oh, they'd have to comment. She's like, I don't want to be looked at. She had to resolve that, right? Is that like a danger? No. But she's like, stop, leave me alone. So there are lots of medium safeties and small safeties, and then the biggies that make us not feel comfortable in the smaller body. Some people feel exposed, some people feel vulnerable. So there are lots of reasons. So don't get hooked on one version of safety. There are lots of them.
All right, so what we want to do now is I invite you to grab a piece of paper and pen. We're going to do a little bit of internal reflection, because EFT works best when you can find out what is personal and what is unique for you, rather than general broad statements, which can still have some benefit of, right, kind of bringing down the stress response. It's even more effective when we can personalize this and personalize our own resistance and where our limitations are coming up. So I invite you to grab that piece of paper and pen. And the first question to journal, just free write, see what comes to the surface. There's no wrong or right answer. if we were to look at the next quarter, so third quarter of 2025, that's July, August, September, gives you a few months here. What does your number one health goal, or what is your number one health goal? And please be fairly specific here, not just, I want to lose weight, right? That's fairly ambiguous, but it's like, I want to be able to walk 5K, or I want to be able to, whatever it is, think about something specific that is your number one health goal for this quarter, and just allow that to come through.
What happened? Mhm.
Some of you might say, I want to lose a little bit of weight, but more importantly, I want to be balanced in my sleep, food, and rest. Or, in other words, just be specific. Everybody wants to lose weight, or else you wouldn't be on this call, right? Be a little more specific if you can.
And think about why this is important to you, right? That's the next question, is why is this goal, why does it even matter? What will it allow you to do or to feel in your body, or not feel in your body, in your life? So they're just different prompts. We want to continue to kind of peel the layers. And the next prompt, or the next question is, how will you know you've reached this milestone?
I'm going to just put it in the chat. Reached this milestone. Sounds silly for some of you, like, well, duh, the scale show it. So, yes, sometimes. How will you know when you've reached this milestone? So start with your specific goal. And how will you know? Your pants will fit. You can climb a hill. You can play with the grandchildren. You know, what is it that says I've landed, I've arrived?
Okay, now we're going to start to get into some of the resistance pieces. Some of the pieces is, okay, so why have you struggled reaching this goal? And you can bullet point out, you can just write sentences, free flow, whatever, what comes up. Why don't you have this health experience today?
Amanda, I'd like to give an example just for myself. It's not that I couldn't lose weight, I couldn't keep it off, which is a very common for many of you, right? And it took a long time for me to get it because I wasn't doing EFT and wasn't asking the right questions. Why would I gain it back like that? Like I reached like I worked so hard, I reached the goal and then whoop, back it goes, right? So some of you might just have that simple answer. And some of you might say, well, my resistance was I'd be on a diet for a month and then I'd hate it. Or I felt deprived. Look for the emotions. A lot of people feel deprived, discouraged, depressed, angry, resentful when they don't get to do what they want to do, which might be eating some crummy foods. Let's just face it. We don't like things to be taken away from us. Good, Sneha, sustained size, feel youthful, slender physically, clothes feel loose, right? Deep breath, that's your sign, right? So for her, that's her sign.
Yeah, and please feel free to put them into the chat. That's really helpful for us to see, you know, what's coming through. I know for me, an example that I struggled with for many years was being able to consistently nourish myself. I know it sounds silly, but I would always just say I was too busy to have breakfast, or I didn't have an appetite in the morning. So my body got used to, hormonally, it gets used to the pattern that we've created. And I was like, oh, I'm not hungry. I'm not hungry. Well, that being chronically underfueled actually was causing a lot of my autoimmune condition and a lot of other symptoms. So it was really just the self-prioritization to carve out the time, like I'm worth the time that it takes to prepare a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner, was a big journey to really be able to tap on to create that pattern routine.
And Naomi says, I feel rebellious. I don't want to exercise or give up treats. None of it. That's so interesting. That's what
Yeah.
happens to us, everybody. Everybody's so focused on the diet and the diet book and whatever you're reading and eating and whatever. No, sometimes we just feel rebellious and we want to say, stop taking something away from us. And then
Yeah.
Sneha, I think you said, I lost a size, but put it back again despite being consistent. That is uber frustrating. What that means to me, Sneha, is you haven't gotten to some bottom line. Why would you? There's no reason for the body to put it on. There's no reason to start eating too much food again after reaching your goal, unless there's a signal or a sign that says this. No, this isn't good. No. That's how our body. That's how our brain talks to us. Go ahead, have a second piece of cake. That's how it works. Right? It's not about the hunger. Everyone's like, oh, it's my cravings. We can work on cravings. That's great. We might even, Amanda, we might even record one of those.
Yeah, that's a good idea. As one of the bonuses.
Denise, I have a cruise in October and I want to feel cruise confidence, lose 15 pounds and fit back into my clothes. Good. Why are we
Mhm.
adding the why? So Amanda said, why do you want to be there? Because
Yes.
it puts it onto something. It makes it meaningful. Everybody walks around saying, I want to lose 20, 30, 40 pounds. And what's your purpose? And if you don't have it hooked to a purpose, it's a little empty when you get there. And then people are like, huh, I did it. Now what? Well, why did you want to do it? So it's just good to consciously connect. I want to go on the cruise. I want my clothes to feel loose. Why? Because that feels so good to me. I feel fresh and abundant and, whatever your answers are. Trying to make myself okay or acceptable. Mm-hmm.
Helene says, I want to be able to bend and move without feeling a tug in my lower back muscles. So it's so interesting because what we're seeking is something that we desire, right? To feel good, to have more enjoyment, have more things in our life and our body that we love. And so really tapping into, like Carol was saying, the purpose of why this is important and how we're going to be able to appreciate this aspect of our bodies and of our lives.
Jacqueline, what holds me back? Impatience, wanting results now and spreading myself too thinly, doing too much. That is a key thing that affects your mood and your hormones, right? Doing too much, getting a little too spread out and feeling deprived emotionally or deprived of time or deprived of sleep or, you're always giving. Many of us on this call are givers. So that's something that can affect, again, whether you eat or not, whether you eat too much or not. I missed there, Paula. Let's read a couple more of these and then go to the next.
Yeah.
Paula, I totally self-sabotaged my weight loss goal last week. Don't know why. Could I tap on even though I don't know why? You can, but it would be probably faster to say, try that, even though I might have been scared, so I sabotaged my weight loss goal, comma, I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself. You could do either one. Okay. When we sabotage our anything, money, relationship, weight loss goals, it means that we feel better the way we were. We're not so comfortable with how the changes that we've made. I'm having some apps bounce around there. If something comes up on the screen, I will close that.
Lynn says, I used chocolate sugar at a very early age to feel calm and cope as my mother was a very anxious person. I became her parent and felt really overwhelmed and scared. So it's interesting, Lynn, right? You're able to see the connection with a sequence of events really early in life that the food gave you soothing. So it's only natural. Your body is trying to soothe you. It's only natural that it's going to resort back to a pattern that's familiar, right? And that's what we want to shift that dynamic.
Great, everyone. It's really good for all of us to see. Every time I get to the size, weight, and looked great, people comment on how I'm being fussy about food or don't lose too much. Afraid to be attractive and sexy. So those are two very different things. People saying, oh no, they always do that. Oh no, don't lose any more. You've been trying for 2 decades and they say, don't lose any more. You're going to be too thin. Well, you're not going to be too thin because you guys we have disordered eating, but unless some of you have an eating disorder, you're not going to get too thin. That's not what happens, right? But people, you have to have the mental disorder to be actually anorexic, right? It's not just a physical disorder. So, and I'm separating it, Sneha, that I'm afraid to be too attractive and sexy is a separate issue, separate safety issue. Great. And these are great, you all. And it's connecting you to the real reason, the real why, and taking a look. See, what people do is they do a diet book and a diet fad. That works this year. Next year, they do the next one. Next year, they do the next one. Next year, they do keto. Then what's big now? I don't even know what's big anymore because I don't follow it anymore, right? Because I don't know.
Intermittent fasting is trending for sure.
Right. Okay. Amanda, anything else before we start taking some people on turns? And I know
Next thing is the emotion. So we've identified some of the beliefs about what's getting in the way, what are the blocks. The next thing is, how does this make you feel? So really tapping into some of the emotions that you're stuck in, because those are also a great source to tap around thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. So how does this make you feel? What's being triggered, so we can start to see that as well.
like Jacqueline was saying, she's impatient, and that may feel frustrating. So just one or two emotions, like, yeah, I'm done. I'm tired of this. I'm frustrated. Some of you feel hopeless, and I understand. Having sponsors being hopeless about losing the weight, I get it. So see, is that what you mean, Amanda? What feeling you feel because they haven't reached it?
Yes, definitely. And then we can see sometimes there's a link if there's other areas in your life that you feel impatient or you feel frustrated. That again, we're kind of hitting that trigger. And so this is where tapping as a whole can start to release the tension, release the resistance that's setting up the nervous system. Anger and despair, Sneha says.
The thing about what you just said, the balance is so important because some people isolate, here's my body and here's my weight loss. And they're not looking at the fact that their boss is verbally abusing them. It's related. Oh no, that's my boss, that's work, here's my body. Or their spouse or partner is saying something, or the kids are out of control, or the dog just died. Like all these things happen in our life and we're like, no, I'm sticking to my diet. And we're not processing emotional material that we deserve to process. We deserve to have validated. It could be anything, any part of your life. However many parts of our lives are there, 10. And we tend to go, oh, no, I'm just going to stick to this. And eventually you fall off the wagon because you're not processing the real deep stuff that you need to.
You just said something, Carol, really, really insightful, I think, is we deserve to have all of those emotions validated. And if we just try and plow on through to the next thing, no wonder our body is physically showing us that we have not even given ourselves space to allow those emotions to exist. So we have to see them, witness them, validate them, and then allow them to pass through. But I always think of like, we want them to just keep on moving through, just like the clouds overhead. That yes, they come into our experience, but then they can continue on. They don't have to stay and pile on the physical weight onto our bodies.
Lynn says something really important. I don't know how to soothe myself other than with food. The thought of deprivation makes me angry and very scared. You just named 3 or 4 different targets for tapping. Everybody remember, for tapping, you do the emotion as a target. You do a limiting belief. This will never work for me, right? A symptom. You don't understand, Carol. I get such bad cravings. If I don't eat something, that's a symptom, right? It's not real. They are based on stress. Or the memory of an event. Darn it, last time I lost the weight, I gained it right back. So I feel discouraged. Why would I bother? Right? So the memory of an event, that event, it is feelings, but the event would be, I gained it back and I was mortified or ashamed. Okay. So a bunch of you, deprivation and discouraged. You can't muscle through feeling deprived because that is also, I know it sounds emotional only. It is biological. When we feel deprived, watch out. Why do you think people hoard stuff? They don't need more stuff in their living room, but they hoard it because it's that important. It feels like a biological need. They don't say that. They just say, no, I'm going to need this one day, but it's biological. Okay. Snack more when I'm on my own or bored. Yeah. Boredom. Big deal. Good.
All right. Should we start to move into some tapping sessions?
Yeah. Now let me say something else about tapping, everybody. If I'm tapping on someone for frustration and you don't feel frustrated, you feel puzzled or confused, tap anyway, even on their words, because this effect has happened for the last 30 years that they've been studying EFT, where in groups of people, even if it's not your issue, the tapping is calming down and rewiring your nervous system, and it's helping you anyway. You've already opened the file. Well, she's frustrated. I'm not. I'm angry. You've already opened your file. It's like you put it on the table and then leave it and tap along with us. Okay, it's incredibly effective. This is why people say, why are you still doing EFT? Are you kidding? Because I've tried 50 million techniques and this is the one that keeps working for me and for my clients and for my family. So again, I don't think we said it, but in the beginning, one of the first things that EFT worked on for me was sleeping problems. I had terrible insomnia, and the weight loss came later. I used it for cravings and up and down, but I didn't get to the bottom, which was grief. And once I got to that, not only did the physical weight seem easy to take off, I didn't have those crazy cravings, but I didn't realize it until I asked the right questions. All right, I know Sneha, you were up, you had raised your hand or told Amanda you wanted to turn last time. Everybody know how to raise their hand. We're going to take a few of you if we can. You know, Rick usually does this for me, so I don't know how to do it. How do they raise their hands? They all know? There we go.
Yeah, you can go into the it's in the react button.
Yeah.
And then if you click on that, there's a thing where it says raise hand. So if you want to raise your hand and have a chance to come up into do a tapping session. Okay, great. I'll make a note of these.
Good. And Carolyn, I noticed how the chat comments of others also resonate with me. We're all in this together, everybody. We're all in it together. Thank you, Carolyn. All right. So I see Vij and Sharon. I'll start with you two, unless Sneha, are you in?
Sneha, I have her up. She's pinned. She's ready to go, Carol.
I don't know what pin means, but go ahead, choose her, and then I'll go to Sharon and to Vij after that. Hi, Sneha. And so everybody keep it short. What's your main issue that you think is your block now? You got your goal, right? What's the main blockage probably, even if it's not, you're not 100% sure. Hi, Sneha.
Hey, Carol, you look fabulous every time I see you.
Thank you. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. So my main issue is I recently lost a bunch of weight with intermittent fasting, and I'm not even all that feeling deprived or anything, but I put on weight and I have no idea. I feel angry because I don't know what to do about it. And I've done so much emotional work and I still don't know what to do. But I was the one that said that the upside for me is every time I lose it, someone will say, oh, well, you're just fussing too much over food and so on. But I do know before that, like going back to that, when I was attractive or slender, I got negative reaction from my mom. This is a long time ago, meaning she didn't want me to, I was not allowed to date or whatever. So her control seemed to tighten. That's all I can think of. I'm not sure if that's a connection, but
It sounds like a good one. It sounds like one in that there's a danger. Let's use that word again, everybody, even though it sounds a little strong. There's a danger in losing the weight because she's going to criticize you. So here's how we measure it, everybody. I'm going to ask Sneha to repeat a statement and see if she can get a 0 to 10. Ooh, that really gets to me, right? I'm afraid of being criticized if I keep the weight off.
10.
10.
Yeah.
So
My mother's not alive, by the way, but it's still a 10.
happens all the time. David, you are unmuted again, and a couple of others of you, if you can make sure that goes off. 10. Okay, so let me just say this, everybody. If you're at a 10 of fear about anything, comments from men, comments from women, comments from your mother, comments from your sister who can't lose the weight, a fear of as a 10, you will move heaven and earth to gain it back. Everybody get that, right? You've got to understand this little complicated way that human beings work. Like we will do anything not to feel exposed. And if that means I'll put it back on, you said, Sneha, you aren't even eating enough to put it back on like that.
Correct.
Your body is saying, this isn't good. Your mother's going to come. I know she's passed. Your mother's going to come in and say, right? So she was controlling. So of course you're angry. Who wouldn't be angry? You know, weight loss.
And I'm afraid of a relationship even. So it's like a double whammy.
Yes. Okay. So when you say, I'm afraid of getting into a relationship, 0 to 10, how high is that?
9.
9. Can you lose the weight, comma, keep it off and not enter a relationship? Can you take control back of that so that it's not automatic? Oh my gosh, lose the weight, enter a relationship.
Well, I get yes and no. I get some unwanted attention sometimes from men that I don't want. There is attention I want that I don't get, but I could take control. But I think there's something in my head saying, Well, you should go get a relationship.
Yes. So I'm going to give you permission to do nothing to do with a relationship when you lose the weight. Everybody, we tie these things together. I had a client who said, if I lose the weight, I said, what's the upside of gaining it back? She goes, if I lose the weight, I promised myself 10 years ago I'd get a facelift. Now I don't want one because they scare the living daylights out of me. Take back your control and let go of that vow. You don't have to do anything. What you want to do is get balanced enough to lose the weight and say, here's where I am. Yep. Mom might criticize me. Yep. That guy thinks I'm hot. Alrighty. Enjoy it, but don't do anything about it.
I just want to look and feel great if I put all the other stuff aside.
Good. So you had a 10, and what was the fear of relationship? What'd you say, 9?
9, yes.
Okay. Everybody, if you got a 10 and a 9, you're not going to keep it off. That's all I can tell you, having kept it off and on, I don't know, 20 times. Here we go. Even though I'm afraid of criticism from my mother,
Even though I'm afraid of criticism from my mother,
she always commented on my weight,
she always commented on my weight.
and she thought I was unsafe.
She thought I was unsafe.
So she kept telling me to put it back on.
She kept telling me to put it back on. Well, she didn't keep telling me to put it back on, but she tried to control me.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't about the weight. It was just she stopped me from dating.
Yes. I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway.
Even though I'm afraid of her control
Even though I'm afraid of her control
and I'm angry about it,
and I'm angry about it,
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
Eyebrow. I resent her control.
I resent her control.
She's not even here anymore.
She's not even here anymore.
And I resent her control.
And I resent her control.
And that's tied up in my weight loss.
And that's tied up in my weight loss.
It's tied up because I can hear her voice.
It's tied up because I can hear her voice.
And then it crosses over to my relationship fears.
And it then crosses up to my relationship fears.
I don't want to be in a relationship.
I don't want to be in a relationship.
Well, part of me does.
Part of me does.
But the other part is scared.
The other part is scared.
And I'm convinced that losing the weight
And I'm convinced that losing the weight
will force me to be in a relationship.
will force me to be in a relationship.
Deep breath, everybody. That helps move things along. There's no right or wrong. We covered both that time. How does that feel?
Better. So the part about my mother, about 7.
A 7.
Relationship part 5.
5. Excellent. So everybody, that's enough of a shift that she's going to be different at dinner too. She's going to be different. You're different energetically. Eyebrow. I resent her control.
I resent her control.
Side of the eye. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
I feel rebellious.
I feel definitely rebellious.
I feel irritated and rebellious.
I feel irritated and rebellious, and I haven't done anything wrong.
It's okay to feel my feelings.
It's okay to feel my feelings.
I think I understand why I'm not keeping the weight off.
I think I understand why I'm not keeping the weight off.
It feels conflicted to me.
It feels conflicted to me.
I want it so badly,
I want it so badly,
and then I gain it back.
and then I get it back.
And I admit that I'm scared.
And I admit that I'm scared.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Good breath.
My mom's control, 6.
Good.
Relationship, 7. Yeah, actually went up.
Okay. What are you so afraid of in a relationship?
Oh, getting the wrong guy, or being like left, someone, being treated badly and left, or someone I want, like no one being interested in me, or just getting the wrong guy.
We'll do this last one. Even though I'm afraid I'll be hurt again.
Even though I'm afraid I'll be hurt again.
So I don't want to be exposed.
I don't want to be exposed.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I want to accept who I am and how I feel.
Even though dating seems frightening to me.
Even though dating seems frightening to me.
And really risky.
And really risky and not worth the effort.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
Why do I have to link weight loss with a relationship?
Why do I have to link weight loss to a relationship?
They're actually not related.
They're actually not related.
My mother made them related,
My mother definitely made them related.
but I'm going to unhook them now.
But I'm going to unhook them now.
I can do whatever I want
I can do whatever I want
with the weight or without the weight.
with the weight or without the weight.
I choose to unhook relationships from my weight,
I choose to unhook relationships from my weight.
and I can release some of this fear now.
And I can release some of this fear now.
Deep breath. Everybody, the breath just keeps moving it through. Remember what we're doing, calming down the fight or flight response in the brain, telling the system, it's up to you. You're in control now. She was in control before. You're in control now, but our culture says losing the weight means we're going to be with a part. It's not related. I know you think it's related, but it's not. You can't tell me that only people in size 6 are in a relationship. That's just not factually true. But that's how we learn it, I think. You know, Madison Avenue, advertising, glamour, etc. Sneha, how's that feel to you now?
Control is 6, relationship 7, so it's about the same, but a new thing popped up. I'm actually afraid of freedom. Because I've always been controlled. It's like, what do I do?
Okay. You have 3 things to tap on for your homework.
Okay.
Irritation and annoyance with her control.
Yes.
Fear of getting in a relationship.
Yes.
What will happen, the wrong guy, the wrong one. And this, I would tell you, is the bottom line.
Yes.
I would say, so everybody, sometimes you have to go through a couple of rounds and then you go, and she's told us the information. This is it, people. I'm afraid of freedom. I've been controlled my entire life and now I'm going to be free.
Right.
You know, it looks good to some people and other people are like, no, thank you. No, thank you.
Perfect. I'm afraid of making the wrong decisions if I'm free.
Yeah. Oh, Sneha, worth $1 million. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, that was great. I wanted to add one other thing from a physiological perspective too, because like Carol mentioned, there's the emotional safety, there's also the physiological safety as well. And recent studies show us that women, after they reach, typically after age 40, when we're more in the perimenopause and menopause stages of life, where our hormone levels have shifted, intermittent fasting in particular, if it looks like skipping breakfast and starting your nourishment later in the day, that has shown to have some adverse effects for many women because the body is being asked to perform. We have our cortisol peak shortly after waking, and that's when our activity level is supposed to be at its highest and then start to taper off throughout the day. So physical activity as well as mental emotional activity, if we're thinking or working or producing and different things like that. So we want to think about fueling our body in alignment with when the demand is going to be asked of the body. So they found when women tend to skip breakfast, and I don't know, maybe that's not what it looked like for you when you were doing intermittent fasting, but after a while, the body, that heightens the stress response in the body because the body then gets sent into cortisol peak with no added nourishment. So it can work in the short term. Oftentimes for women, they'll lose some weight and they'll see a short-term change. However, it's not sustainable because then the body starts to go, oh, there's not enough fuel around for us to be active all day long. And so it wants to hold on to and conserve energy. So there may be a physiological aspect in addition to the emotional aspect too.
And there's the notion of threat again.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if your body feels threatened now because you're not getting enough fuel to do what you need to do between 9 in the morning and whatever fasting is. That's interesting. I never heard that, Amanda. That is fascinating. Fascinating. Yes. Okay. Sharon, now I do here and I just say unmute. Do you have her, Sharon and Vij?
Thank you.
Thank you, Sneha. Amanda, can you get Sharon?
Am I the Sharon that you're talking to?
Yes. Hi, Sharon. How are you?
I'm doing good. Now let me see if I can get back to I don't want filters, I just want Oh, well, all I see is me. Do you see me?
I see you and everybody. Uh-huh.
Okay, I only see me. I don't know how to get back to.
I think if you're on a mobile device, if you swipe one side to the left, then you should be able to see with Carol as well, I believe.
Oh, this is ridiculous. Okay.
But we can see you, Sharon, if you want to.
Okay. Well, now I'm seeing it's doing crazy stuff. Okay. Anyways. All right. So my question is, or issue is, my mother, who raised me, she was very supportive of me. But I remember one time she said to me, that girl who wants to be your friend is not worthy of you. And for some reason, I turned that around and I told my best friend, I was in the fourth, fifth grade at the time. I told my friend, I internalized that statement and I said, I'm not worthy to be your friend. And I don't know why I said that or why I believe that.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, there we are.
And you relate it to your weight.
Well, I was just thinking of that because my whole life I've been very, very slender. I've never had an issue with weight until my 40s and 50s and when I hit menopause. And now I'm the heaviest that I've ever been. I have no energy. I have ear issues, balance issues, and a lot of self um, inner critic is very loud no matter what I do with my art.
Okay.
I don't want to show anyone because I know they're going to criticize it. And I keep thinking I have a loud enough inner critic. I don't need anybody else's criticism. Um, my my place,
Okay.
I won't say I'm a hoarder, but I have stuff that I'm trying to get rid of. And I think that it's all related, including the weight.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to test some statements. Everybody, this is just from years of doing this. You want to test, like, is this the issue? Sharon can say, no, it's not quite it. This is the issue. Right? So the statement, Sharon, that I want you to see if you get a zing on it and you think, oh, that's it. I don't feel worth losing the weight.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay. You want to add one?
I'm thinking. I even though I've been having an issue with my weight for the past couple of years, there's a part of me that doesn't even believe that I'm overweight. Uh, y- Somebody once said, "Oh, she's very comfortable in her skin," and I said, "No, I'm just in denial. In my mind, I still see myself as the 20-year-old skinny girl, and I know I'm not."
So Sharon, we need
Uh,
Sharon, we need to boil
yes,
it
I
down
understand.
to an emotion, right? Fear, hurt, worry, resentment, deprivation, a belief, I don't deserve to lose the weight, a symptom, I'm so out of balance, or whatever symptom you have, or the memory of the event. I'm not sure that thing with your mother is the event that's connected here. That doesn't resonate with me, with you.
Right.
Right. So if you could boil it down to one of those things, I'm resistant to losing weight. I don't believe I am able to. What would be maybe one of the things that is like, that's connected. That's why I can't lose it. Do you believe?
Well, I am resistant to losing it. Let's go with that. I'm resistant to losing weight.
And let's add a because. Everybody, because is my favorite word in the English language. I'm resistant to losing the weight because.
I don't feel worthy.
There.
And that's probably what you said.
Okay, well, sometimes we have to go around a little bit to really get it to fit you and to be accurate. Okay.
Right.
This one, everybody, I'm not going to measure this one. I'm just going to tack with her because it's sort of a difficult one to measure. So here we go. Well, actually, yes, we can. So Sharon, if you had to measure your resistance 0 to 10, 10 is like, don't even talk to me about this issue. I'm not going to do it. I refuse. what is your number of, yeah, I feel I'm resistant to losing weight?
I would say a 9,
9. Okay, everybody,
upper end of 9.
if you're a if upper end of 9, you're funny. If you're at a 9, good luck with it, people. I've been at a 9 and it's not going to come off, right? I just want to keep saying that. At an 8, 9, 10 of fear, hurt, resistance, safety, you can't lose it and keep it off. So get these feelings down first, then go for the physiological balance, okay? So here we go, Sharon, and you can't see me, so I'll just narrate where I'm tapping, side of the hand.
Actually, and now I can see
Oh,
you,
now you
so
can.
I'm good.
Even though I feel this incredible resistance to losing weight, this is for everybody.
Even though I feel this incredible resistance to losing weight,
And I think it's connected to my worthiness.
and I think it's connected to my worthiness. Yeah, that does sound right.
It does?
Yes,
Okay. I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself,
Even though I can feel my resistance to losing weight.
even though I can feel my resistance to losing weight.
And I think it's connected to my not feeling worthy.
And I think it's connected to my not feeling worthy.
I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself anyway.
I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself anyway.
Eyebrow point. I'm resistant to losing weight.
I'm resistant to losing weight.
Side of the eye. I feel so resistant to losing weight.
I feel so resistant to losing weight.
Under the eye. And I know it's connected to my worthiness.
And I know it's connected to my worthiness.
Under the nose. I don't deserve to lose the weight.
I don't deserve to lose the weight.
Chin. I don't deserve to get what I want.
I don't deserve to get what I want.
Collarbone. That's a lifelong belief.
That's a lifelong belief.
Under the arm. I don't deserve to get what I want.
I don't deserve to get what I want.
Top of the head. And that is about my worthiness issue.
And that is about my worthiness issue.
Good. Deep breath. So everybody, we had to talk a little bit to get boom, to land on something. How did that feel, Shannon?
It did. It felt spot on. I think it's in terms of losing the weight, it's more that I don't want to do what needs to be done to lose the weight.
If you had to do what needed to be done to lose the weight, how would you feel? If you had to,
I'm sorry, say that again.
if you had to do what you needed to do, how would you feel? Like you're talking about resentment? When you're-
Yes, yes.
So everybody, resentment, rebellion, resistance, the 3 R's, they're all kind of entwined together. And some of us represent rebellion more, and others of us are like, we're just resistant, right? Go back to the eyebrow, Sharon. I don't want to do what you have to do.
I don't want to do what I have to do.
Side of the eye. Don't make me do what I have to do.
Don't make me do what I have to do.
Under the eye. I resent the work I'd have to do.
I resent the work that I have to do.
Under the nose. And I accept myself anyway.
And I accept myself anyways.
Chin. No, I don't.
No, I don't.
Collarbone. I don't really accept myself.
I don't really accept myself.
Under the arm. Maybe that's the underlying problem.
Maybe that's the underlying problem.
Top of that. I don't really accept myself.
I don't really accept myself.
Deep breath. So everybody, that came out of the tapping. It was obvious to me that when I was saying accept myself, she was like, nope, nope, nope. That's what resistance comes from. So Sharon, there's no right or wrong there. How's that feeling to you as far as, maybe we're following the trail?
Yeah, definitely a big aha. Definitely that. It's hard to 7. I'll say it's moved down to a 7, maybe upper end of 7.
Okay. So any movement is good, everybody. It's when you're completely stuck, that's not good. Any movement up or down is good. What means we're moving something. Sharon, your homework, first of all, you helped everybody because everybody's got resistance, is to keep saying, I'm resisting losing weight. I refuse to lose weight. I don't want to do what I have to do. That's coming forward as the reason. Okay. That's the, right. That's the resistance right there. So that would be your homework.
Yes.
Actually, you know what, Amanda? I think that would be a really good one for us to do a bonus on. You guys, we didn't record the bonuses yet because we wanted to see what came up. And I think that is so universal. Even people who say, I can't figure out what the resistance is.
I agree.
But clearly I'm resistant. I don't know what it is. They can't get to the answer, but they're like, look at my body. Obviously I'm resistant. So great job, Sharon. And I think that's your homework for you. And we'll do a bonus next. We're going to do some bonuses next week.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sharon. Amanda, any comments from you? I'm going to try to get 2 more in if we possibly can before 4 o'clock.
Yeah, no, I think that was great. Really, when she shared, I'm resistant to doing what I believe I have to do. I think that is so common, and it comes up over and over, is there's a resentment piece there.
Yeah. And I say to people, we've all been controlled within an inch of our lives. And then that's how we put it. They want to take the food away from us too. Watch me. You want to see
Yeah.
someone. All right. Vidge, how are you?
I'm so good. Lovely to see you, Carol. Oh my gosh, we've been tapping together since 2009.
We have. You look beautiful. What can I do for you today? Let's get
Well, I'm postmenopausal. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm postmenopausal and I'm in a wonderful relationship and I've really had good feedback about how I look. And my husband took me on winter vacations because I live in Canada and I put 5 pounds on. I take it off really easily. But postmenopausal, I put that 5 pounds on. Go for another vacation, I put 10 on. And it's like, that pound a year. And it's like, before you know what, you've got 10 pounds on. And I exercise 4 times a week. I eat healthy and well. I sleep great. I don't have. But I was really fascinated with Amanda's research because I actually saw a functional medicine and did my whole hormone labs and everything else. My thyroid was almost totally, I was off. And I have gone on supplements and it really improved so that I'm now able to absorb the nutrition that I'm able to. So I've lost 10 pounds, but now I'm kind of stuck. And I was just curious because I actually did intermittent fasting. I go to the gym and I don't eat anything until I come home at 12 or 1 o'clock sometimes. So isn't that interesting that my body is now conserving because I'm not giving it the sufficient nutrition that it needs to function at the morning?
In addition to that biological, physiological challenge to the body,
Right.
if you had to ask, Vidge,
Yeah.
I don't feel safe losing the weight, the upside of bouncing back 10 pounds, bouncing back every time, what's it doing? Everybody, I know you don't want to hear this. It's doing something for us. It's protecting us in some way. Could you identify why?
I really can't. I've asked myself that question. I feel great when I've got more energy when I'm not carrying the weight around. So there's not an upside to keeping it on for me. Yeah, I can't. That's unknown. Like I don't know if I'm in denial or what's happening. I'm not.
Is there any part of the chase, up, down, up, down, up, down, that's a little bit motivating or exciting? Like, now I have to lose it again, and then you lose it. Then you gain it up again. Is there, that comes up with a lot of women, and we're going to just do a tapping on the balance of the hormones. Does that?
No, I mean, I even had the cravings, and since I've eaten more protein, I don't have the cravings so much anymore either.
Sorry, I
Hi,
pinged you, but I figured I'd just come say, I need you to add a couple people to the meeting invite.
Okay,
Yes.
just send me an email.
Yeah, or it's not an email, I did Teams message, is that
Right.
okay? I just
Amanda,
sent
can you
their
please
emails
mute
in
her?
Teams.
You did what?
I just sent their emails in Teams.
Amanda,
And
can you mute
tapes.
Sharon?
Teams.
Sharon, you're
Oh,
talking.
yes.
Okay, yeah, their customers.
Sharon, you're talking. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So for you, Vidge, it's a total quandary. You're
So frustrated. Yeah, it's like I feel like I'm doing everything right and nothing's shifting.
okay. Are there any beliefs that are hooking you? Menopause, anything that says, yeah, this is what happens to all women in menopause?
No, I'm actually I since I'm aging, like I have got this a little bit of rebellious, like just because I'm aging, I shouldn't have to be heavy and big. Like I don't buy into that. Like I feel like You
Okay.
know, I'm one of these women that really want to establish, like, I can still keep healthy and well to the day I die. Like, there's no reason why I should
So
feel.
Vidge, we have not landed on an emotion,
Oh, well,
belief,
frustration for sure,
Mhm.
because I'm not
but I mean,
shifting.
an emotion to keep, okay, you frustrated that you're not shifting, but any other emotion that's keeping it on. Because the frustration is coming after the up and down.
Yeah. I can't identify that. I'm having a hard time with that.
right. It's possible it's just physical, but 99% of the time it's never just physical. Okay, everybody?
Mhm.
Someone else said, please do a bonus on resistance. Good.
Well, yeah, because I'm thinking it's hormonal because I've gone through, I never had a problem before. And
Okay.
so I think Amanda's like, that's why I was curious about to take this program, was because I knew the link for me was hormones.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Even though my hormones have been imbalanced,
Even though my hormones have been imbalanced,
and I accept myself anyway.
I accept myself anyway.
I deeply and completely acknowledge that I'm frustrated,
I deeply and completely acknowledge that I'm frustrated.
even though it seems like I've been barking up the wrong tree.
Even though it seems like I've been barking up the wrong tree.
And it's really a hormonal issue.
And it's really a hormonal issue.
I accept all of me anyway.
I accept all of me anyway.
Eyebrow, but I might have a menopausal issue
I might have a menopausal issue.
about women and postmenopausal symptoms.
About women and postmenopausal symptoms.
I don't know why I go up and down,
I don't know why I go up and down,
but I keep going up and down.
but I keep going up and down.
I wonder if I'm rebelling.
I wonder if I'm rebelling.
I wonder if I'm resisting.
I wonder if I'm resisting.
Under the I don't get it.
I don't get it.
But why do I eat more on vacation?
Well, why do I eat more on vacation? All those treats are hard to, the alcohol. I don't typically drink a lot of alcohol when I'm at home, but I do. My alcohol intake goes up and desserts go up.
Okay, so that's not a hormonal imbalance.
Mhm.
That's just with my nieces and nephews for a week. I ate more
I know. Maybe it's rewarding. I feel like I need to reward myself, right? I'm on vacation and deserve this reward, you know.
So it's not that the hormones couldn't also be an issue. What I'm
Yeah.
saying, if you go on vacation, you can't resist the treats. That's a separate, that you're actually physically
Yeah.
eating too much and drinking too much.
Yeah.
Eyebrow, I like being rewarded.
I like being rewarded.
I don't want to give anything up,
I don't want to give anything up,
and that's okay.
and that's okay.
I don't want to give anything up on vacation.
I don't want to give anything up on vacation.
And what if that's okay?
And what if that's okay?
What if it's not okay?
What if it's not okay?
There is a piece of rebellion in there for me.
There's a piece of rebellion in there for me.
There's a piece of rebellion in there for me.
There's a piece of rebellion in there for me.
Everybody hear the deprivation again, just a little bit. Yeah, I'm not going to give that up when I'm on a cruise or whatever vacation you were on. Vidge, there's no right or wrong, but this is the homework for you. Is I'm still frustrated.
Yeah.
Frustration,
Yeah.
hormonal imbalance that we now understand from Amanda could be triggered by too much intermittent fasting, not eating enough.
Yeah.
And then I like to be rewarded. Don't take it away from me. Everybody, you can use language like, don't take it away. Don't make me, you can use rebellious language to give yourself a voice. Very, very important.
Yeah. I'm part of me is afraid to eat more for putting more weight on. I'm afraid.
Yes.
I have a fear that, that's just going to be more weight gain.
And what is that causing? Resistance and combativeness.
Yeah.
So there's a belief around that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep working on it.
Thank you. Thank you.
And sometimes it's okay to be rebellious, everybody. I will not give up the extra foods when I'm feeding the nieces and nephews and the kids. But I know I can come home and take it off in a week. It's like, because I've done so much tapping on the issues, it doesn't stick anymore. It's weird. It's weird to me. It doesn't stick anymore, but I'm okay with it. Okay. So if that's your freedom, if that represents freedom and fun, and you can take it off again, go for it. Carolyn, we have 2 minutes. Okay.
Okay. I'd like help in changing one thought for another one. So when you said something that your sister said, years ago, my sister said, why bother losing the weight? Because our mother died right after she and I lost a whole bunch of weight. Recently, she said to me, I have a good A1C. My blood sugar went down. So she said, I am doing the good work. I am taking care of myself, but I still realize I have this fear. So I want to take the new words and replace the old ones.
Go, I'm gonna explain less and just go for it with you right here. I'm afraid that losing weight is dangerous.
I'm afraid that losing weight is dangerous.
I connect it to my mother's death.
I connect it to my mother's death.
No wonder I'm afraid of it.
No wonder I'm afraid of it.
Something bad happened when we both lost weight,
Something bad happened when we both lost weight,
and it wasn't connected to the weight loss,
and it wasn't connected to the weight loss,
but I associate it to the weight loss.
but I associate it to the weight loss.
What if I could come up with a new phrase
What if I could come up with a new phrase
and a new belief?
and a new belief?
Okay, everybody, we're going to go right into the eyebrow because of the time. I choose to take care of myself.
I choose to take care of myself,
And I love being healthy.
and I love being healthy.
This is for everybody. I appreciate my cooperative body.
I appreciate my cooperative body.
Under the nose, I love feeling healthy.
I love feeling healthy.
And I appreciate that I have unhooked my mother's death from my weight loss.
And I appreciate that I have unhooked my mother's death from my weight loss.
Collarbone, I feel so balanced right now.
I feel so balanced right now.
I love feeling this healthy.
I love feeling this healthy.
I love knowing I'm doing what's right for me.
I love knowing I'm doing what's right for me.
Awesome. Awesome. How'd that feel? Your face was
Oh, it's a good release. Thank you, Carol.
nice. Awesome, Carolyn. So everybody, we do hook things. That's how the brain works. We can't stop it. Amanda, it's 4:02. We
Yep.
try to up on time. Any final comments for
Well,
everybody?
I think this is great. We got some chance to really expose the resistance, and we'll definitely do a bonus tapping on resistance as well as the cravings. And I think finding that balance, like the idea of like, especially in menopause, like trusting that our body can find that balance and work with us. Those are some good ideas for us to do the bonuses. So Carol, you and I can record those and put those in the link. I'll put the link in here one last time, and then we'll wrap up so this is the access page. You can bookmark this page. Everyone, I'm putting it into the chat. And that's where you'll be able to see all of the replays, continue doing the homework, ideally tapping 5 to 10 minutes a day on your specific topic.
And we're going to do rapid fire questions on tomorrow afternoon, right? Wednesday. The only reason we're not recording this week is because you can hear I have leftovers. I had the shortest cold in history, but I still sound bad. I feel great, but I sound bad. So we'll do those next week. Wednesday, 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central, 1:30 Pacific. No,
1:30 Pacific. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and you write in some questions, but we're gonna go rapid fire, maybe a little tapping, but mostly rapid fire. Amanda answer, me answer, Amanda answer. Thanks for the information today, Amanda. See, this is why you need to be up to date with research, people. Okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes this fad of intermittent fasting isn't the best thing for everybody. I didn't know that. I'd never heard that, Amanda.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Specific to women, because the older data was done predominantly on men, and men's bodies, their hormone levels decline just gradually over time. Women have this dramatic shift.
Yeah.
So it's different.
Fascinating. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, everybody. Do your
Yeah,
homework.
the Q&A is tomorrow, so not next week. Someone asked in the chat.
Oh, sorry. Yes, tomorrow, Wednesday. Tomorrow,
Yes.
Wednesday. Great.
Thank
Hope
you,
to see all there.
everyone. Goodbye.
Everyone.